Welcome to Tag Your It. I'm Larry Anaya, along with Alyssa Pope, Frank Iniguez, and Brian Kozlowski. We're the Tagrisk insurance team coming to you from one of Southern California's finest restaurants, bars, nightclubs, or lounges. And in each one of our episodes, we're going to dive into the hottest hospitality topics of the day. And with that, let's get started. We're here in the world-renowned Whisky A Go-Go on the historic Sunset Strip. We're so fortunate and grateful, Brian having earned their business here, and for them to allow us to shoot this in here. We want to share this with you, our audience and our customers. This is such a great place. I mean, this place opened in 1964, so it's older than any of us in here.
So much history.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, playing bands such as The Doors came out here, The Go-Go's, Van Halen,
Oasis.
Yes.
Henry
Guns N'
Rollins,
Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Poison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poison.
Brian was out here in his spandex.
Frank had a dress for the occasion today.
Yeah,
He did.
Grateful for it. We all should have worn our concert T-shirts, but it's just wonderful to be inside a place like this and to share this with you. Many that know this area just know how historic this place is and what it's all had in here, and it's still thriving. So we invite all of you to come see a concert here and come see your favorite bands. Let's talk about what we've experienced in our lives. I'll share that my first experience into live music. I scalped tickets in high school. I used to scalp them out of my locker, so we're talking the era of Prince, Madonna, Billy Idol, general public. I had a friend who had a connection with somebody at Ticketmaster, and so I had lots of tickets in my hand. I would make a commission off of everything I sold, so most of the time I would get to go see the concert for free. Got to see the Purple Rain tour 3 times. Yes, Little Red Corvette, all that stuff, right? And the opportunity to be at so many concerts. But before I go into those other ones, Frank, how about you share some of your favorites?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually got the opportunity to see Oasis back in the day. Right now that Oasis is buzzing so much in the music world now with the reunion tour. Saw them actually back in Mexico, in Guadalajara.
Wow.
Right before they split up. So that was a really amazing concert. And I just saw some footage of their comeback reunion tour, and these guys are back. They're phenomenal. They're rocking in, and just a great show to be on the alert for.
Yeah, it's a hot moment for them and for those that are fans of them.
As a matter of fact, as we're at the Whisky, I was watching a video last night where they played the Whisky back in '94.
Oh, wow.
When they were just getting going. So that's a great show. There's a lot of controversy over it because it looks like there was some substances being used that night that are very obvious.
Say it isn't so.
No.
But hey, that's rock and roll, right? That's
what I hear.
Good video to see. 1994.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian? What do you remember about the live music venues and concerts you've been to?
Well, I started out, my first one ever was, I was telling you guys before the show here that my first one was David Lee Roth, the Yankee Rose, his first, out on his own, I think, when he left.
Talk about
Van
spandex.
Halen. Yeah. It was pretty
High
wild.
kicks.
But what a band. I mean, the guys he put together as musicians, I think Steve Vai was on the guitar. I can't remember the other guy, this bassist, and then even the drummer, but they were just phenomenal. Just the stuff they did besides the songs where they would, play each other's guitars and, around each other, and the guy was playing this little aluminum drum or whatever with these pencils, and they had the light on them. These things were going like 1,000 miles an hour. It was insane. And but it was one of the coolest things. I think I was in 10th grade or something. I think I looked it up. It was back in 87 or 86, I think it was. So what a time, though, just going out to something like that and then going on.
Eye-opening.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Pretty wild.
How about you, Alyssa? What do you recall?
I wasn't born yet in that time, so I have to
She's
say.
baby.
I have to say mine is not as rock and roll, but I saw Ricky Martin
Hey.
at the Honda Center, known as it then. I think it's a pond
Living
now.
La Vida Loca.
Living La Vida Loca. And then also I saw Muse out here in LA.
They rock.
That was a cool. They're coming back. I feel like they're
absolutely.
Yeah, they're coming back right now.
Absolutely.
And then I also saw Madonna. So and I know
Nice.
she was. I think was she here back in the day? I don't know.
She
I
was
remember
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. So yeah, I saw Madonna. That was exciting. How about you, Larry? what's your Prince days?
Yeah, speaking on Madonna, you know, I mainly only sold the tickets to the concert. So actually, I believe I sold some to your mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she got to go see her.
I'm sure she has some stories.
Oh, I'm certain. I think it was Irvine Meadows where those tickets were at.
I think, matter of fact, she had to pick you up one time at a Prince concert.
She didn't pick me up at a Prince concert, but there were other times she picked me up. So to speak on that note, actually, I got a chance, when I was in the Army, I got a chance to go to the very first Lollapalooza. It was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the venue was amazing. They actually had this one section that was 10 rows from the stage, and we had our own table and waitress, and drinks were free-flowing as well as food, but more drinks than food, because I forget somewhere in between Living Color and Jane's Addiction. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, Susie and the Banshees, you had iced tea with Body Count. It was a crazy, great show.
While they were in their prime, by the way.
While they were in their prime, and I've shared with you guys, but I'll share also with the audience. I got a chance to see Jane's Addiction when they opened for Fishbone back in 1986 out in the Valley, which was crazy. And so it was just a great opportunity to see a lot of live bands. You know, from scalping the tickets to getting to see Purple Rain 3 times. It really made me fall in love with live music and the action and activity that would happen at any one of these shows, and that you could see things that you'd never hear on the songs, you know, some riffs and some other stuff that would happen. It was just a blast. Frank and I got a chance to go to Ohana Fest recently, and that's also a brilliant thing. It's kind of like following the spirit of what Perry Farrell was trying to do with Lollapalooza, is bringing in a community of awareness and give back and that sort of thing. And so Ohana Fest follows in that same theme. And brilliant bands. You see stuff that's eclectic, from, you know, a solo artist singing Hawaiian songs to Pearl Jam, right? And what are some of the other bands we saw that you enjoyed?
We saw Crowded House, a really good band from England in the punk scene called Bad Nerves.
Yeah.
They were really good. I mean, it's just a festival to celebrate and have a great time at. Now, I wanted to also share, Larry, with our public and especially with other agents that are out there that are not in a good house, and they're looking for a good house that they can have fun, that it's different, and sharing this message to those agents that are homeless, to speak to that, and share with them the house we belong to and we've created here, and the fun that we have and the message that we spread. And like I always say, with Tagrisk, who said insurance isn't sexy? I mean, that's the message.
That's why we're here.
So Frank's got his leather jacket on, you know, he's trying to prove it.
And I don't want to go further,
He had a plan behind this.
You know, so it's.
He said he's going to have the chains and the hair coming out.
No, he came in a suit, and he came and zipped it up, and we all look, okay, like.
Performance artist.
Come on, it's got to get real, right? So at any rate, message to all the producers out there, all the agents that are not in a good home, give us a call. You'll be surprised a lot of fun that you'll have with us. So just wanted to get that message out there.
I love it, Frank. Yeah, I guess the message is come on home. Right, you know, we do have. We're very fortunate that what we've built and developed, and bringing people that come from all walks of life, athletes, musicians, etc. Like we bring it all, and you know, being able to show you a place like this is just one of the accounts that we have access to. So we're going to be showing that more often in our future shows as to the other venues that we work with, and keep this all a fun life.
Is part of the
Viper
story?
Room is part of the legacy of what came, you know, from the Tagrisk lineage, and just so many other historic venues that are out there. And so we're just really grateful to be here and
show support.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for that.
All good points.
You know, that's why everybody here is having so much fun doing what they're doing. It's not a job. It's real life.
We'll insure you and support you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the other places that we've seen, or bands we've seen. What else strikes you, Alyssa?
As far as bands, well, one of my good friends, Bobby, actually plays for a band called Mutt. They'll be here next month in August.
Oh, nice.
And so I will be here. I've been here 18 years ago was the last time. Gosh, I was in here, and I remember just a good vibe, and all around, you know, artists from Rising, from people we are well known. I feel like it's just a cool, how you kind of say Nohana, but kind of family and vibing together, and I feel like it's just awesome to see. So.
Yeah, and you know, Brian has worked this neighborhood. That's why this account is his. And he's, you know, over here, neighboring business, the Rainbow Room is really where Guns N' Roses used to hang out after their shows here. They have a I don't want to call it an infomercial, but a documentary that they have on the ownership group here that you can check out online. But the Rainbow Room is historic as well in tow with this venue here. And some of the other places that you've worked on around here.
Oh yeah, no, we did the Abbey down the street, over in West Hollywood, and that's kind of another iconic place of West Hollywood. Probably one of the most well-known places here besides this one and
Truly.
the street. So it's exciting to get out there and meet. I think meeting these owners and people that run these places. Mike up the street, he's like, you can usually meet him if you wanted to. He's always sitting out there eating lunch or something up at Rainbow Room. So he's a fun guy to talk to. He's been around it forever, and I think his dad passed away last year, which was pretty sad, and he was the one who got all this stuff going. So, but he's taken on the legacy and running a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sunset Strip, as I opened up with. It's a place that no matter where you're from, you've heard of it. You've heard of Whisky A Go Go, as you said, world renowned.
Absolutely.
And it's just so cool to get the opportunity to be in these kinds of places and work with these people that have, these great venues. We're very grateful for it, to work with them and to be a part of it. Some of the other stuff I'll share that, concerts I have been to, I got a chance to go to the second Lollapalooza. I remember more of that one. And the headliner on that one.
I was going to say, who'd you see there?
Yeah, well, I saw Pearl Jam and Ice Cube were the headliners in that show. And there were so many other great bands that were a part of it. It was a little hotter. It was at the Irvine Meadows, and so we were in the sun the whole time. It's probably what fried my hair off. But, it was such a great show, getting to all these live music venues. I mean, recently, Frank and I, we went when we saw Jane's Addiction over at the,
YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube Theater, that's part of SoFi. I mean, just a small venue where you're just up close with the artists. It's just crazy amazing. I was also sharing that, back in the days, I was working out with a friend, and Rick Dees came on the radio saying Prince is going to have a one-night-only concert at the Wiltern Theater.
You had to take advantage of that.
Hell yeah. And so I ended up, we said, let's close shop, let's stop working out, let's head on over there. And we did. We went there, we bought tickets at the booth. We scalped those, bought some more, and kept upgrading our tickets to the point where we actually made money, and we ended up seeing the show in the greatest seats ever, and it was a small venue. And I have seen the artist multiple times at multiple venues. Even also when Sheila E. had a concert, the Fat Boys opened up, and Sheila E. came on, and so it was part of the whole Crush Groove era tour. And then, lo and behold, to do Erotic City, here comes Prince in all his majesty. And doing his thing, and then right behind that he went into a full set from the Parade album that was just a gift.
So awesome.
And so it's God rest his soul, but he was probably, for me, one of the artists that I enjoyed the most, because you just knew that you were going to get more than you paid for.
Yeah.
And
so Larry was a Prince groupie.
I wasn't wearing the fluffy shirts or anything, but
eyeliner.
People would accuse me of that, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I had a good chance to see Prince one time out in Vegas. He did a pop-up show at the Hard Rock, and my buddy set it up for us, and so we got in there. He was supposed to start at midnight, so we were sitting up in this balcony area, and beautiful, small little venue there, and just drinking and drinking. Looking at our watch, and we're like, okay, he's coming on. But finally, about 2:00 in the morning, he started. But it was worth the wait, and what an entertainer he was, though. It was quite to see.
What was your favorite song he did that night?
I don't know.
He had too many drinks. 2 hours of drinking.
Do you remember the song?
I was not in the Larry Anaya fan club, but I was a fan after seeing him play. It was, he could play he played every single instrument on the stage, and it was incredible.
I mean, fan or not, his songs are iconic. Once you hear them, you know that's Prince.
For me personally, I mean, because he was an all-around musician, we know that.
Yeah.
Great voice, multi-talented. But when I heard him shred the guitar, to me, in my world, more on the rock and roll side, I thought, okay, this guy's legit. Right? This guy can shred anything, not just the guitar. But that was just, for me personally, when I connected, I said, he's out there.
Yeah,
he's
I agree. It took me over the top.
Completely at another level.
Yeah, 100%. There's some iconic thing where he was at, I think it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he was part of an ensemble with Tom Petty, and I think it was a tribute to George Harrison, and George Harrison's son was on there. And then he all of a sudden starts shredding the guitar, and he actually falls back from the stage, and he's being held up by a bodyguard, and he's just shredding it up. And you could see George Harrison's son back there going like, he was just, oh my God, this is great. And so at the end they say, I saw some documentary, he throws up his guitar at the end. They say it still hasn't come down.
I mean,
He found it in heaven.
Yeah, Carlos Santana is another one that has a cool backstory. He used to wash dishes in a restaurant and watch Jimi Hendrix play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's how he would just wash dishes, but he would like study him, and it's cool to hear the backstories of all these musicians.
Absolutely.
History of it.
Absolutely. He's back also.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him.
He's
Yeah.
going to start hitting stages soon, so
Yeah.
good show to see.
Yeah, as they have like all kinds of iconic photos around here, and we'll share them, I imagine, while we're playing this podcast. Just Guns N' Roses was, started right here, right back behind us. The Doors,
Slash.
right? Started right here. Janis Joplin was on this stage. I mean, this thing goes back, like I said, 1964, and so the era of rock and roll and bringing this about. So you've had generations of different types of bands. You brought up the hair bands that were coming on at their time, right? And so it's just so neat. Like I said, Van Halen, etc. It's just been an amazing bunch of people out there that have done great work. And so always, we're all fans of all of this. Different genres, but all linked
Groupies.
by the same by being a groupie. Absolutely.
That's what I love about this. This is my high school years.
It
All
brings you
these
back.
bands.
No, and to say you and cheer,
you
that's
see,
crazy.
and being able to walk around here and you see all the pictures of all the, got all these.
Yeah,
big
it makes you a
bands.
kid again, for sure.
It
Especially
does.
GNR. We used to jam that before football games on front.
Dun, 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 dun,
I used to play all
Pump
that
you
stuff. My brother had an old '70s Chevelle, and they had these speakers in them. We used to pull into the parking lot before go get dressed
let 'em
before
know.
the game, and you have to, shoot all this great stuff going Wild Side and all this. Oh, it's just so great. With everything.
This is awesome. I mean, this is history. When we walked in and we were contemplating where we should set up, etc., and I was just thinking, of course it has to be in front of the stage.
That's iconic. I
mean,
that's the center point.
You know who stood on this stage, right? Just looking at the stage
else?
and reflecting on
Yeah.
that. Who stepped on this stage? Who's shredding on this stage?
Right.
This is history.
And still
Besides
happening.
and still
Right?
happening.
Oh, yeah, they still have.
So
Like-
iconic.
Like any of you viewers who are in the area, or when you come into Los Angeles, you need to come check this place out.
Absolutely.
This is you'd be in awe of what you have around here. It's an old place. It's iconic. It has everything that you'd be looking for if you're a live music fan.
If you're into music and you come to LA and you didn't come to the Whiskey, you didn't come to LA.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a mistake.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, because even like nowadays, I think even Def Leppard came back here last year, and I think I was talking to Mike, and I think the Crew came back through, and a couple other big bands that were back in the day, and they all came back through here in the last year. So you never know what you can find here.
No,
It's
it's
cool
great.
how they come back. I mean, you think they're well known, but I mean, this is where it started. So of course they're going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Larry, question.
Yeah.
Did Prince ever play Coachella?
He did.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of my favorites, he did the song "Creep" by Radiohead.
Oh, I
And
love that
it's
song.
on YouTube for any of you
Yeah.
to check that out, and it is just a brilliant rendition. He didn't, at least in my remembrance and some of the stuff I saw, there weren't too many covers, but like when he did the Super Bowl, he did the cover of Foo Fighters, right?
Yep.
And so, and then this rendition of Creep is just, from time to time when I'm doing some yard work and sipping a little something, I'll pop that on just to enjoy what it is.
Wow.
That's a good cover.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot right
No
now.
doubt.
It was truly great. Well, I just want to add something in here real quick. If you own a bar, restaurant, nightclub, or lounge, and you want to be a featured guest on the Tag Your It podcast, please reach out to us. Let us know. Just send us a message on our website or our YouTube channel, and we'll get back to you. We would love to hear your story. We are so fortunate to work with so many iconic businesses. And, truly in wanting to celebrate what this one is, we've talked about a lot of other artists that we've seen and music that we enjoy. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to that's coming up that you want to see? I know, Frank, you said about seeing Oasis. I'll share that I'm about to see Blink-182. Nice. I'm going to the Ohana Fest once again.
When is that?
It's in
I wanna check
September.
that out.
It's in September. And the headliners, Eddie Vedder is always one of the headliners. This year, Green Day is going to be the Sunday night headliner. And then on day 2, is it Hozier?
Hosier's on day 2. Yeah.
It's just an eclectic group.
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon,
I
yeah.
love Kings of Leon.
So it's crazy. Like one day, like
It's
Frank
on
said,
fire.
I'm seeing an English punk rock group followed by a mariachi, followed by a Hawaiian singer. Then they got, Green Day or
That's
something like that.
music,
It's just
different
like,
genres.
it's just a collection of everything. And so if you get an opportunity to go out there, I truly encourage you. Coachella's great, but it's a little dusty, whereas this is on the beach. Yeah. So it's a little, upper end, I feel,
It's awesome.
But it's all good stuff. I mean, it's for those of you that love live music or love.
Where is that one?
It's in Dana Point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, down on Doheny Beach. It's a blast. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Frank got to join it last year, and it's just stuff that I treasure. It's how I spoil myself in life.
Absolutely. Now, another thing that I want to reach out to our community out there that also have clubs that host rock en español nights for Spanish rock acts. Si nos están escuchando, háblenos. También nos especializamos en cubrir bares y restaurantes que hacen conciertos de rock. Me encanta Caifanes, Soda Stereo, Maldita Vecindad, Enrique Bunbury. Háblenos y los vemos con todo gusto. Sorry, just thought I'd throw
Simone,
that in there.
please
I
do.
don't know what you said, but I'm sold. I'm sold.
Yeah, Daddy didn't teach us Spanish, or we're lost. He's trying to keep secrets in the
I'm like,
house.
see?
You guys in California, I don't know if you guys
How's that
remember
work? But I will tell you, I've seen Fishbone at Garden Grove Amphitheater. Rompe Sompera opened up, and they're like this crazy punk group on xylophones. It was insane, but so much fun to watch. It was a blast. You find things with good energy, and that's the thing that I also appreciate about going to a show is the opening acts that end up becoming somebody later down the road.
Yeah.
You get to experience things that you weren't expecting, and enjoy that, and I think that's such a blast, right? It's universal.
Yeah.
Music truly is universal. It is the universal language. And I always think if we were ever to be discovered by an extraterrestrial life form, if there's one thing that they would be surprised by, I don't think it would be technology or computers or the internet.
Well, if they got here, they'd already have that.
I think it'd be rock and roll.
Yeah?
I think it'd be rock and roll. Watching a stadium jump up and down because a guy's got a wood box with strings on it connected to electricity and making that stadium jump up.
Making
and
it
down.
work.
It brings everyone
I think
together.
that's what
Yeah.
they're saying. That's what made these guys different.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
So
That's a good.
Well,
point.
it's been amazing when you think about the eras coming out from that, right? You had the Lawrence Welk era and what, our grandparents and great-grandparents were all about. And then you end up going into the rock and roll era where things changed, and then what it's become to this point. It's been crazy. One thing I didn't talk about is some of the raves I went to when I came home from the Army. So I got to see Moby live inside the dome at the Spruce Goose. And back then, because it was all a psychedelic venue, they had, things that would just float out of the sky like an eyeball looking at you. And just this wild stuff. It was amazing. The raves were crazy, though, too, because you had to come down to Sunset Strip to find a flyer, to go to the next place, to get to the next place, and go to these surprise events.
The EDCs.
Did
I
you?
think
Yeah.
now they're not here in California. They're now in Vegas only. But I've been to like 3 of them, and I remember Paul Van Dyke, Tiesto, and just all. I mean, they would bring rock in that too as well. But it's all sorts of music.
Yeah, so that
Those
era
were-
that came about, right,
Yeah.
from some of that, it's brilliant because you think about it, like DJs now became famous.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And back in the day, it was just somebody getting their scratch on. And now that's a celebrated thing that makes multi-millions of dollars. You just don't know what the next thing is, right? Music is ever evolving, and a place like this is just a house of what that is. It's amazing.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in little upstate New York, Rochester, so we had a couple good players come out of there, but nothing like this is such iconic out here, and you guys grew up out here, so it's a little bit different.
It's LA.
Hollywood, Los Angeles, that's
Yeah.
everything that I know gets famous out there, and that's why we wanted to celebrate this location with you viewers. What else can we talk about, guys?
rock and roll moments.
Yes.
What is the rock and roll moment that you remember instantly? You're like, I'll never forget that. That really embedded my brain when I saw this artist or this band or this show.
For me, Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
When they show that old stuff up in San Francisco and he's lighting his guitar on fire and still doing certain things, it's like, wow, man, that guy just took the next step. And I think he blew people's minds, right? You went from the Beatles and Love Me Do to
And doing
that.
the Star Spangled Banner on there, like I feel like that's an iconic moment. Like that's pretty cool.
No doubt. I think for me personally was seeing Radiohead at Coachella.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Just the entire performance, I mean, these guys are top notch anyhow, but that performance in particular, I already had seen them, was out of this world. And another act that I'll also share from that same Coachella was watching At the Drive-In from El Paso, Texas. Awesome band, but they were in their youth and they just knocked it out the park. So rock and roll moments, those are moments that just got embedded, and I just cherish them. They're awesome. So I think that's something that I
would say my favorite one was I was in high school. My one buddy, we bought these tickets to Bon Jovi. I think Warrant was there, a couple of old, 80s hair bands. And we're just sitting there. We were like, we actually forgot that we had the tickets, and the concert was that night. And we're like, we look at the clock. We're like, holy crap, we're gonna miss our concert. So we're like, we gotta get beers. Not that we should have been drinking beer, but so we got there. We had a little thing. We shot down these beers, ran into the concert, got right up front, and then the best part of that whole thing was, I was a huge Jovi fan back in the day there, and they played "Living on a Prayer" acoustically. That was the best part. I just remember all the people.
That must have been awesome.
It was a pretty wild little situation. We had girls up on our shoulders because it was so packed tight. People were passing out because it was hot out. It was a good little night of fun. But
yeah, he puts on a great show.
That was fun.
Got a chance to see him with my wife. Mm-hmm. The one thing I remember from that show is that she mistakenly took a selfie of herself. She thought she was taking a photo of Bon Jovi, and all you got is her going. I wish she didn't delete it. I would hold it against her forever.
That was going to be my next observation. Meeting a celebrity or a rock and roll star.
Oh.
Have you bumped into somebody taking a selfie yourself with a rock and roll legend of any sort?
I haven't done rock and roll, but Snoop Dogg.
Okay, well, he's up there.
We grew up in Diamond Bar.
Way up there.
He's way up there.
I've met him about 4 times now, and I played basketball with him in Diamond Bar.
That's an awesome story.
Maybe like 20 at the time, and I remember seeing Snoop Dogg, super nice guy, by the way.
Wow.
Does great for the community, but I saw him there. Yeah. I saw him at an In-N-Out in Diamond Bar, and then
he's producing great wine.
He's doing everything.
That's pretty good.
True entrepreneur.
He is.
Absolutely.
Mine wasn't rock and roll, but my best one was probably my country one because I'm a big fan of country too. Not just, but a lot of it intermixes nowadays. You see all these
Jelly Roll and all that.
And all that. So. But we went to a Tim McGraw concert down in Atlanta in this outdoor venue. And, I used to play for the Atlanta Falcons, so we had good tickets. And our one friend was friends with Tim McGraw. So we were actually standing on the stage behind Tim McGraw while he was playing, and we're all, looking out over the crowd. It was pretty wild. But then after the concert, so Kenny Chesney actually opened up for him, which was, one of my favorite guys now. But so after the concert, we went out on... we were out back, and we got on Kenny's tour bus. So we're sitting in there and talking with his parents, and then he comes on. But I was like, I hope you don't mind, Kenny, but I've been drinking all your beer out of your fridge. So he just laughed. He goes, "Oh, it's all for you." So,
good icebreaker.
Just you.
But no, we had a good time. That was probably the neatest moment,
That's
meeting, someone. Especially that was when he was an opener. Now, he's one of the biggest country stars, actually he's a great guy to go see because he actually brings a lot of rock and roll into at the end of his his concerts. He brings in he'll play a little bit of everything then. And he does get into some good stuff. So
what a cool story.
Yeah, but it was a lot
For
of
me,
fun.
it wasn't a direct photo. Sorry to interrupt, Brian.
That's fine. I'm done.
It wasn't a direct thing, but I was hanging out with some friends that were in the baseball world, and they had a friend, Royce, that played for the San Francisco Giants. So he was in town. We were all going to go out together. Even met Barry Bonds later that evening. And we go to this place called The Cave, and he gets us in, however he got us in. And when I go in, Dr. Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers, is sitting there talking with some young chippy. Buddha, James Edwards, comes in, sees him, and bounces out. Wow. And my friend and I, because the table was full, we were sitting at the bar, and I look behind me, and it's Prince. So, we had the Prince theme. He's sitting behind me, and girls are coming over, and he's got his bodyguard, that one dude you see in Purple Rain, and standing there with him. And I'm telling my friend, "Motherfucker, that's Prince behind us." He's like, "Would you get off here? You got to act like you've been here before."
So he was a groupie.
And I was like, "Oh my Lord!" So we're just sitting here, and it's all happening behind us. But that was a cool moment, and like I said, later on we got to meet Barry Bonds. So, look. we're having to close this up, and we're so grateful, and I'm grateful to you guys coming here and sharing your stories in this too. We're really wanting to make sure that the audience knows, as Frank said, or if you other agents want to be part of something that's really cool, or if you have a venue and you want to talk to us to see what we can do for you, we really do save our business owners, our new customers, quite a bit of money, tens of thousands of dollars, and we provide better coverage because we specialize, because we have places like this in our arsenal.
Exactly.
So I just want to thank you so much for watching Tag You're It. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like or subscribe us on our YouTube channel, and please follow us on all our socials. You get all these guys saying all kinds of great things about what they do. To learn more about what we do, please visit our website, tagrisk.com, Tagrisk.com. And until next time, take care, stay inspired, and please remember to have a lot of fun and take care of each other.
Thanks,
And
guys.
rock
Guys,
on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Rock on.